Hi, I'm Lee, mechanic at OMX Pro Team, and we're here in Cape Town, South Africa for the 2016 Cape Epic. I'm going to run you through a few of the changes that we've made to our World Cup racing bike to get it ready for the world's biggest stage race. The riders have to be self-supported. They have to be able to fix their own mechanicals, they have to be able to replace their own parts. That means we've elected for the SID, so we can use the quick release front axle, so the wheels can be removed by the riders without the use of tools. Cross-country wise, we would normally use the Maxwell Stealth, so it requires a 6mm Allen key, but that would normally be held in the pits and I would do it for them. Tyre choice for the Cape Epic varies slightly. For World Cups we use a lighter tyre, which has less puncture protection. For the Cape Epic we're opting for a larger volume tyre with the snakeskin Schwalbe puncture protection to aid for the rough terrain, the inevitable thorns that are on the course. Mainly for the harsher environment and trying to protect our riders from puncturing. We've been here for a week now, dialling in suspension setups between the two riders. There's variations between the two, so any weight differences obviously relates to slightly different pressures. So we've been taking the time during practice to get this sorted, to find the settings that the riders are happy on with this particular bike. Martin himself runs a fork that ramps up slightly more. It's slightly more progressive in its travel. We do that through the use of the volume reducer in the SID. Martin has his shock set up with slightly higher pressure than Sasha. Generally it's rider's weight that dictates this. He's quite an aggressive style rider as well, so we find that the shock set up slightly harder helps him with this aggressive style. Sasha is a slightly lighter rider than Martin, so he's running slightly lower pressures. His fork is more linear in its travel. He doesn't like it to ramp up at the end, he likes it to be smooth travel all the way through. And yeah, that's just what he prefers, so we run one less volume reducer than Martin is running in his fork. So the riders are on Pro Logo saddles. We're lucky in the fact that we have the choice between the titanium railed and the carbon railed. For the security of the marathon racing, we've elected to go for the titanium railed saddles. They're long stages, they're rough stages, and the saddle takes a lot of impact on this. So with the idea of not always running, we don't always need to run the lightest equipment, because sometimes the fastest equipment is the equipment that gets to the end. So we've gone for that slightly stronger rail on the saddle. Pro Logo look after us with some cool features, like we've got the German flag in the back of the saddle for both of them. That's quite cool. I think both the riders appreciate that. So both the riders are running the same saddle as they normally run, but just going back to the tie rails as opposed to the carbon rails for the marathon race. Okay, so we meet the guys at the end, we take the bikes from them. That's the time when we speak to them, see if there's any problems that they've had on course, any issues, anything they want changing. We take that information, go straight off to the bike wash, get them cleaned. There will be, I like to ride the bike back from the bike wash back to our pit area. That gives me a chance to ride through, see if there's anything I noticed that could have happened during the day's stage. If all's good on that, it goes into generally checking the bike over. So we'll start top to tail basically. We'll run through over everything, check that everything's still tight, check that all the spokes are still sorted. We'll then visually check the tyres. So the tyres will be looked for any major thorns, any major cuts, and those will be replaced straight out if there's any issue like that. We're really lucky to be using the Cesta. It's a bike that's low maintenance, and that really helps me to get the time. The Cesta itself is a low maintenance bike, which gives me time at the end of the stages to get the bike dialed in for the next day, to get a bike that's running fast and the guys are super happy with. Over the next few days, I'm setting up a bike that's running super sweet. Every morning, the guys are good to go, good to race hard, and hopefully get the best results they can.